Thargoid FPS, Thargoid Motherships, alien buildings. These are the things that people are wondering about. Something is coming to Elite Dangerous in November. Maybe it'll be one of these things. But right now, who knows? That said, in recent years, there's been a few leaks and other pieces of info that might give some insight. We'll look at those in just a moment, but first, there's a herald of change that might be approaching. Of course, the big thing happening right now is these space anomalies, the so-called Stargoids. An increasing number of these have been appearing over the past weeks. All of them seem to be heading towards Earth, or at the very least, towards the human-inhabited region of space. Whilst their origin and nature have not been confirmed, it's pretty clear they are related to Thargoids. Here's an image from Canon Research. It shows that wherever the Stargoids go, there's an increase in the presence of Thargoid hyperdictions as well as signal sources. So as the Stargoids are moving and seem to be moving towards human space, their arrival time is more or less difficult to predict. This is due to their speed being inconsistent and changing over time. Either way, what we do know is that Update 14 for Elite Dangerous is scheduled to release in November. Frontier have called this update a major narrative update, and we know that Elite narrative in recent times has been either directly or indirectly related to Thargoids. The chances then of the November update being connected to incoming Stargoids is very high. Whilst Frontier remains silent on the nature of the update, let's take a look at some of the things that have been seen, revealed or leaked in the past. And on a side note right here, if you don't like leaks or anything of that nature, now would be a good time to stop watching. On the 14th of April 2019, an alleged leak was posted to an internet forums. It caused quite a stir. Some people believed it, whilst others didn't. Eventually, and without going into any specifics here, the leaker supposedly revealed themselves as a Frontier employee by accidentally included internal email details in a leaked screenshot. As for the leak itself, here is the details. You can see a few points are blatantly wrong, such as Frontier working on a LEGO Star Wars project. It also mentioned base building in an upcoming Elite Dangerous feature. That clearly never happened. Yet, depending on which Frontier staff member you actually listen to, this supposedly at one point was certainly meant to be a thing. Maybe, possibly, perhaps. At any rate, in hindsight, we can see that despite some inaccuracies, much of this leak was spot on and accurate. This included the release info for Jurassic World and Planet Coaster updates. It also accurately revealed the internal project name of Watson for Elite Dangerous Odyssey, and we know now that Odyssey is indeed referred to as Watson internally by Frontier. So, what does this have to do with Update 14? Well, two notes here, two possibilities. The leak mentioned Thargoid FPS and Thargoids looking very Starship Trooper. On the screen, you can see a screenshot of a supposed Thargoid design. This was leaked a few years ago. Meanwhile, here is another Thargoid leak. The second of these, Frontier has previously confirmed as a genuine Thargoid design. In response to a video by Yamix, they stated that this is an image from 2014 and is no longer being worked on. This information was posted to Reddit by Frontier in 2019. Meanwhile, last year, before the release of Odyssey, various pieces of data referring to Thargoids ground troops, installations and motherships were discovered in the game files. Now, I won't go into details on those in this video, as they have been discussed in detail elsewhere, but if you do want specifics and haven't seen them yet, do check out the video from Exidious that I will link in the video description. Now, where does this all leave us? Well, as usual, nothing confirmed and no solid ground but speculation. Whatever I do speculate on here though, may or may not become a reality, but that is of course the nature of speculation. At this point then, I feel that both Thargoid motherships and ground combat are a given. I suspect it's likely that one or the other might make an appearance in Update 14, but there's also potential for both. However, there is another question that comes up. If we're talking about Update 14 and it is Thargoid ground combat, well, what will the quality be like? At this point, Odyssey and ground combat are pretty much synonymous with each other. and it means that ground combat is very well established in Elite. Plenty of people do seem to enjoy it, we see that discussed every day, but equally it's fair and accurate to point out that first-person combat mechanics in Odyssey do not come close to rivaling other first-person shooters. Whilst that might not be the point, and some people may not have a problem with that, and it's probably not much of a problem for people who are non-shooter fans, it is a problem for many other people. Personally, I feel that for Frontier to add any additional FPS components to Elite, they should first improve upon the existing problems with Odyssey's FPS. This, of course, is a subjective opinion, and other people will certainly have a different take. Either way, Thargoid FPS would certainly be a large addition to the game. Personally though, I would be far more interested in seeing Thargoid Motherships, although I couldn't possibly begin to speculate on what that would or wouldn't mean for the game. Finally, if Update 14 doesn't feature either of these two things, then well, it's going to be curious indeed to see how that pans out. Do let me know your hopes and expectations for Update 14 in the comments section. What would you like to see added to the game? Would Thargoid FPS be suitable for you? Do you think the in-game support of those mechanics, the first-person shooter mechanics, is good enough to support such an update? Or would you personally see expansion into space and improved space combat, or maybe a bit of both? Alternatively, do you have other ideas or things that you would like to see? As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys and girls next time.